I should tell you about it. Maybe you know already. The rise of the number of deaths, the homicides, the murderers, the crazy people, and those shambling things that came afterwards. I was there when we discovered the spores that started this whole mess. In the 1980s, an independent group of scientists, myself included, embarked on an expedition to Africa to search for those notorious matinee substance, only known to it as wansen. Apparently, this substance was spread through bullion flowers to which they were found in the area. When inhaled, the wansen spores can cause madness or dementia in the natives. The effects vary, though most of the time they could turn mad and seek a desire to murder others. I saw them stab themselves with spears and sticks and such, bashing foreheads as they went. They inflicted the wounds onto themselves. Some injuries were enough to kill them, naturally, but they just kept moving. We studied a victim in a lab west coast of Kijiju, sealing them in a plate glass sealed room with every one of the mirrors that we left them. The antiquated food and water sealed him inside. For him, we learned about the necrosis that was happening to his skin. First, the skin pales. In this case, the native turned his otherwise dark skin into dry, cracked gray blotches to start to form, and then sores. Through weeks of isolation, we saw the skin turn into gray, cracked husk into the greenish spore, blabbering in Afrikaans. Days later, the man had self-terminated. As he was being prepared for burial, we noticed that the corpse was twitching rapidly. It was too strange to be called necrotic twitching. It was as if the corpse still wanted to move. After a rapid session of twitching, the corpse simply hung limp. We attempted another experiment. Apparently that one led to my second discovery. The spores induced mutations in the body, as if the tissue damage was done severe. Apparently the spores induced cellular reproduction within the bloodstream, creating cell after cell after cell. We all knew something was wrong. A heavily wounded man exhibiting the symptoms of blown spores started to grow in an inhuman amount of muscle and tissue around the injured parts of his body. We sedated him and placed him in the isolation room for study. The results were astonishing. The wansen pores generated parts of the wounded man's body with red mass gave a red pigmentation on the person's skin. The infected showed signs of intense wendigo psychosis, an unstable desire to feed on humans' flesh. As the days passed, I started to get weary and tired. I was also frightened. The other scientists were also getting worried too. When the screaming started, we also were on our knees. The man screamed his ears out. The screaming went on for days until we woke up. I heard nothing and saw a bullet hole in his chest. The reddish man lay there. I asked Peters, our hunter, if he had come to the enthusiasta. No, he said. Angel grabbed my gun while I was sleeping. We saw Angel, the researcher, curled into a fetal position in the corner of the lab, gun in hand. She was sobbing and whispering. When we examined her for cuts and bruises, we saw a bite mark embedded in her arm. It bit me. It bit me. I can't believe it. It bit me, she whimpered. I wanted to take a blood sample from him, and he just bit me. I shot him. I shot him. Through the chest. That sick bastard. That sick bastard. We had every right to take every precaution not to get infected with the wansen agent. To the point of sterilization, Angel was obviously harboring the stage 1 symptoms of wansen complex. As we came closer to restrain her, she knew our intent and simply shot herself in the chest. Not in the forehead, where the brain would forever slumber, but in the chest. After that incident, we decided to get the hell out of there. We gave him proper burials and then left Africa. Due to my colleague's Native American history agency, we all decided to name the condition as the Wendigo Complex. But the thing was, the case was far, far from over. There was a final symptom discovered to find out 4 was the worst, the necrotic twitching I spoke before. It gets worse. A Watson affected man was witnessing killing himself. In the corner prepared the tools for the autopsy. He found the man shambling on towards the door, ribcage exposed. The man, gray-skinned, pupilless, let out a long moan before falling to the floor. Vice versa, spread all around. We were all frightened at the news of what reanimated the corpse, frightened beyond comparison, to say the least. But I hope it was already too late for us. Spreading the agent around would happen each day through the inhalation of the spores, but the outbreaks of the Ebola near Balam-infested areas, spores adapted, assimilated characteristics of the virus, turning it into a deadly algae weapon. The agent could now spread this through a blood, such as the occurrences of the infected that were spreading, but the virus didn't spread enough to gain people's attention until 2 months later. Bizarre murderers occurred around the region. People were apparently eaten. Sightings have prevailed of groups of people eaten and one of the other groups of people. It was mad, insane. To who knew about the Wendigo complex, this was a depressing thought. Throughout the months until realization of the massive Wendigo outbreak, I've lost almost all my colleagues. They died in their own hands, guilty of the monsters that they have become. The first official sighting of the now named Wendigo men were now in a small Floridian town, Casey Key, but at that time, the virus was already spreading across Americas, Europe, Asia, Africa. Through birds and the like, innocent people around the world became insane. The Wendigo man didn't stay for long, but their slow, shambling relatives took their place. We, the remaining scientists who discovered the Wendigo virus, hesitated to call them what they really were. Just like in the movies, the virus was smart. The whole purpose of the symptoms was to turn the person into those freaks. Apparently, the virus not only causes necrosis, but also already dead tissue to reanimate. The bioluminescent spores were acting some kind of reanimated agent. It was terrifying to think that almost everybody in the world, shambling stupidly, craving for the flesh of the living. But the virus was an airborne, and the majority of the population had turned into the Wendigo man. I don't know why I survived. The surviving group of scientists, I included, were escorted out of the convoy by the President of the United States towards the underground bunker in disguise of a farming ranch. We huddled up in there, waiting for a miracle. I still remember the courageous, ambitious looks on the President's face a decade ago. He was unfazed from all the horrors that had happened to him. The soldiers looked up to him as a true leader of his band of Americas that we were. He's dead now. Every year his strength waned. The moans of the living dead threw echo out every night we spent under that concrete bunker. One half-baked soldier grudgingly placed a microphone towards the horde of the undead. The moans echoed throughout the military bunker. Every year it seems to be that one person that flips out, and our numbers steadily decreasing. Gradually the beasts got in. The President tried and wary, embraced the freaks with open arms. I killed him myself. He got a chunk out of my flesh while I killed him, though. Shit, I just coughed as well. The necrovirus just spread through my lungs. I suppose I wonder why I'm not going crazy. Just remember, when one gets infected, he is not the same person as before. The person's dead. This is his body. Shoot him in the head. Be careful of the water, too. Drink bottle shit. The virus is waterborne in some parts of America. What else? Necrosis. The necrovirus usually causes necrosis. I said that before. Just watch out for patches of skin that seem odd, dry, itchy skin. If you read this, I cannot tell you how the common words were, but I don't know. I'm afraid to say the other lines. I can't speak of them. It's too horrible. I just can't. I can't. What am I going to become is 10 times worse than anything ever imagined in this world. I can feel it eating away in my body now as I'm dying, and I can't whimper. All of my strength is gone, locking myself up. It's all for you. I stalked in the closet in the back of the supplies, a week's worth of food, My remaining boxes of shotgun shells, pistol clips, ammo, and 10 days worth of gas drive as far as Mexico, whoever you are, because they're going to spread and then go to Antarctica. As for me, I don't know. Still, I'm dead. Deader than dead. Oh, pistol, you were always there for me. Its muzzle was caked in blood. Tried to shoot myself in the head just a few hours ago, but I decided not to. I shot one of those things in the face first when I pushed the muzzle against my temple. It was still so hot that it branded the skin of my forehead into a penny-shaped hole. I winced a bit from the pain, though I thought of you, and I guess my pain doesn't matter anymore. What mattered was the pain I'm going to cause you. I don't know how you would, but here goes my Uvolva. Look at this thing, throbbing at last. It doesn't hurt a bit, even though for the blood that just wells inside my mouth, just needed a little water or something. I'll wash it off. I'm so itchy. Damn, my right arm is all dry and patchy at parts. Wait, I have to scratch. There, the itchiness is gone. The itch is gone. Maybe I'll just sit there and wait for it to get to me. I can't pull the trigger. I want to die, but I can't. People upstairs, not dead. I see. I scratch and I scratch. Itchy, not gone. People tasty. Might as well go and eat them. I eat and eat and eat and eat. Dead, come on. I eat. Tasty.